Commissioner Work, you do invocation flag salute, please.
Thank you for the opportunity to come to order as a meeting. Presents to the community. The United States of America, the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Agenda item number 4 is public comment period for items not on the agenda. Are there any members of the public present that would like to comment on an item not on the agenda?
Chair Beamsterfer, I have a request to speak from Ray Johnson.
Have you approached the podium, please?
Green. There we go. My name is Ray Johnson. I live far too close to the proposed Simpson Business Park, and I wanted to make a few comments tonight. I've been reading some of the older documents about the Planning Commission and the City Council, what they've been doing. In particular, I'm concerned about what happened in 2012 when you adopted the 2030 general plan and the EIR that went with it. In those plans, it talks about one of the main issues in the city is traffic. And as I looked through this, it talked about traffic problems at Florida and Warren. They were rated at an F. Out of A through F, they're rated F. And nothing has changed since 2012, basically. The same problem exists at Warren and the old Stetson. That problem still exists. The same rating was for Warren and Dominagoni. And that's where I see a real problem, because it says in the plan that in order to move traffic around this community, we need to widen some of these streets. Well, here we are 12 years later. Warren is still a 2-lane road. You've seen the draft of the EIR. It doesn't propose widening Warren to 4 lanes like the general plan calls for. So I think you should seriously consider that when you're looking at the final plan. More importantly, the plan in the EIR for Simpson doesn't include widening the overpass to 4 lanes. So the only way to solve that problem that's been existing since 2012 is to widen the overpass to 4 lanes so you can make Warren 4 lanes all the way. According to the plan done in 2012, Warren would be 4 lanes from the new Stetson to Dominagoni. It would be 6 lanes from there to Devonshire. The same way, Florida would be 6 lanes from Coston to the new 79. And the new 79, according to your plan, was to be planned out by 2012, started construction in 2014, would have been done a long time ago. Well, do we have it yet? No. And I found out last week from the planner in Riverside County, he's doing the EIR for that area of that 79. He just got approval from the state on which route they were going to go. And so he submitted the final plan to the Board of Supervisors, and they put an 8-month hold on it. They're not going to act on it for 8 months until they can get together with all the cities and plan some of these traffic problems that they see, because they're already having problems on Dominagoni going through the Winchester area. So I know I'm about out of time, but I just wanted to bring that out. Is I really think before you pass approval on that site, you really need to get some of these traffic problems resolved, and then we can talk about warehouses. I'm not dead set against warehouses, but I do live close to Warren.
Thank you very much. Any other members of the public that'd like to make a comment?
I don't show anyone online requesting to speak, and I did not receive any e-comments. You're speaking on an item not on the agenda. I do have another one from Shaw Rosenroger.
Thank you. Good evening, commissioners. I spoke with you before, and you know my position, and that's the position of the Green Coalition. Of course, about the warehouses, which unfortunately we can't talk about during the agenda. So we have to use your precious time now. And I just wanted to let you know that we have a petition going, and I wanted to include you in this to explain about our petition. So the way you can find it is the web address is bit.ly/myhemet. That's bit.ly/myhemet, all lowercase. And the petition has a bunch of information about the warehouses and some links, including a research paper called Region in Crisis that was completed in 2023. It's an in-depth look at all the issues happening with warehouses in the inland region, as well as a link to the California Attorney General Warehouse Projects Best Practices Guide, which I think would be really good for everybody here to look at. The petition itself says, a petition by Hemet residents to the city of Hemet. We are opposed to the development of logistics warehouses in Hemet, such as the 60 acres south of Acacia in Florida, adjacent to the lakes at Hemet West, or the Newland Simpson Road project. This development will increase air pollution to dangerous levels and add noise, pollution, light pollution, and truck traffic. We support economic development in our city, but huge warehouses is not what Hemet needs. Its proximity to residential and elderly communities already struggling with chronic health issues is unacceptable. We ask that you vote no on this development plan. And as of this weekend, we have over 700 people signed on the petition, and whenever you want to look at that, I'd be happy to share those names and contact information with you. And it keeps growing, kind of word of mouth. Every day there's a few more. And one of the things I learned is that when the decision on a specific, when you will be faced with the decision on a specific warehouse, the developer will bus in a bunch of union carpenters, the people who build the warehouses. And they get well paid as union workers, and they really care about their employment, and they make the effort or maybe they're even paid to come here in meetings like this to help pass those decisions. But I want you to remember that they don't represent our community. And the people in our community are going to be the ones who will do the actual warehouse work, which is low pay, part-time, no benefits, and all kinds of health risks, occupational health. Again, the petition is at bit.ly/myhemet. You're welcome to take a look and explore the links. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I'm sorry, was that BITLY?
bit.ly/myhemet.
Members of the public that would like to make a public comment.
I don't have any further request to speak.
With that, we'll go ahead and close public comment. And moving on to agenda item 5A, that's the approval of the minutes of the meeting from October 15, 2024. Does the commission have any comments or corrections?
I have no corrections.
Can I entertain a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of the Planning Commission meeting of October 15, 2024.
I second it.
And that passes. All right, moving on to item 6A, extension of time, number 24-006. Director Monique.
Thank you, Chair. This evening, Jordan Walton will provide you with a brief introduction on the request.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. My name is Jordan Walton with the Community Development Department. Tonight for your consideration is extension of time 24-006. The property owner for this application is FB Montego Bay HMT LLC. The project is located on the north of the northeast corner of North Sanderson Avenue and West Devonshire Avenue. Here is an aerial map of the location, as well as a zoning general plan land use map. So the original request was for site development approval for the design and construction of the 96 unit, 3-story multifamily residential apartment complex on 4.68 gross acres. An administrative adjustment was requested to allow a 20% maximum decrease into the required 15-foot side yard setback along the perimeter of the proposed building D. The applicant is preparing to a submission for building and engineering permits, and that is why they're requesting this extension of time. I would also like to note that staff did receive letters of opposition regarding this project, and you received them as part of your packet before this meeting today. Since the noticing of this project, the Community Development Department did receive additional information regarding the proposed extension of time. And with that being said, I will direct your attention to Director Alanis Slater for that discussion.
Thank you, Jordan. Good evening, Chair and Commissioners. I just wanted to bring to your attention some new information that we received as of the date of the staff report after the staff report was released. We were notified that the governor signed Assembly Bill 2729 on September 27th, 2024 of this year, which extends any housing development project that was approved by by a jurisdiction or municipality for a period of 18 months by right. So that is new information that we were not aware of when we took and received the application for extension of time, which was timely. However, we did notify the applicant of this information as well. They are aware of the 18-month extension by state law and wanted to provide this information to the commission as part of the discussion this evening.
Any questions, commissioners?
So that moves it from 2 years to 18 months?
So the request would typically be under our municipal code. However, what we learned is that they may not have had to apply for this extension of time because the state, through Assembly Bill 2729, has extended all development that was approved within a certain period of time. So they would they currently have by right an 18-month extension on this development as of the date of their from their approval.
If this was not approved, then the cities will still give the 18 months
This was an approved project. This is an approved site.
extension of time, though.
Yes, so yes, this is a state law assembly bill that was passed by the governor. And it is not within the local jurisdiction's purview.
So our hands are tied.
Essentially, the commission would not have had to receive a notice to a hearing for this had we been aware that this bill was going through the pipeline.
When
for
was it
consideration.
signed?
September 27th of this year.
Oh, this is the first we're hearing of it. I mean, that's a pretty important law. I'm sorry. Especially with housing being so sensitive. I'm really kind of disappointed that someone didn't come forward sooner.
So basically, all we're doing is we say yes, we're just giving the applicant 6 more months. Extra.
At this time, the commission does not have to act on this request.
Yeah.
Is the applicant requesting to withdraw this application in lieu of the 18-month by right approval?
That is a great question. We do have the applicant, I believe, on the line, is aware of that. That's a great question for the applicant. Thank you.
Mr. Walters, you can go ahead and speak.
Is
Great,
that-
thank you. Good evening, everyone.
Oh, can you hold just one moment?
With that, we're going to open up a public hearing.
My apologies. Go ahead, Mr. Walters.
Good evening, everyone. This is James Walters. I'm the applicant developer of Montego Bay.
Can you speak up a
we
little
can't
louder? I'm sorry, we
hear.
can barely hear you.
Sure. Maybe if I speak closer, is this okay?
No. It sounds a little better, but you're still not.
Okay, 10 seconds. I'll get headphones. I'm sorry. Okay, is this better?
No, it does not. We can't hear you very well.
Uh-oh. Okay. Let's see. Well, I'm very sorry about that. My wife has some foster kittens and they ate through the cord, so that doesn't work. But let me see if I could. How about now? Does this seem a little
Oh,
better?
that sounds great. Yes.
Okay, good. Yeah, she's got some foster kittens, and anyways, I won't waste your time. Good evening, everyone. This is James Walters. I am the applicant and developer of Montego Bay. It's a 96-unit apartment community, as you saw from Jordan's slideshow there. We just found out as of yesterday from Jordan that the state bill had been passed. And so I don't know whether or not this needs to be heard tonight. We're okay with taking this off the agenda, if that's okay with all of you. I think it's probably best to do it that way, and then we can revisit this later, but I do expect to be under construction within that time frame.
Okay, thank you very much. With that, we're going to go ahead and close the public comment. And commissioners, any questions for staff?
What questions?
Yeah.
There's nothing to talk about.
Nothing at all.
Besides just, this is just something that is, we're seeing more and more. I think the public is also, it's important that the public knows that a lot of the things that are coming down from Sacramento are, while good intended, you know, are certainly affecting our ability at a local level to have some level of control on what happens. So
Yeah.
being that it's November 5th, today's a very important day to make that point.
Yes, it
I
is.
really have a problem because I was not part of the commission when this all came down. And there are a lot of problems with how this went through. And so now we're just going to it's just wrong. You have people here that are want to speak on it.
Oh,
I had
okay.
Smoot, I get it, but it's frustrating.
Chair Beamsterfer, I do have 2 request to speak forms submitted for tonight and an
Absolutely.
electronic comment.
Yeah, they should.
With that, we just let the public have their
Yep.
public comment. All right, so we'll go ahead and let the public have their public comment. And first one to approach the podium.
Lori Jacobs, if you can come up to the podium.
Lori Jacobs, and I live in the Brook Terrace Senior Apartments, directly east of the Montego Bay building project, and I've lived there for 14 years. I am joined by the majority of the 52 plus Brooks Terrace senior tenants in opposing the Montego Bay project. And we currently oppose this project extension because the 2-year allotted time limit given this company by the Hemet City Council has expired, and it has not yet broken ground on the property at all. We oppose this project because the city of Hemet has not done its due diligence towards all of the Brook Terrace seniors that would be most affected by this project. As seniors, we are considered sensitive receptors, which means that they are at a higher risk of negative health outcomes from exposure to air pollution due to their age, health, proximity, dwelling, construction, etc. According to the California Air Resources Board, California Health and Safety Code 427.05.5A5. The City of Hemet's Planning Department's refusal to do an extensive environmental assessment on behalf of the Brook Terrace seniors is gross negligence on their part. Several seniors have expressed concerns about noise and dust during construction affecting their health. Some other profound problems we will encounter as part of the construction plans are as follows. A few feet from a wall behind 6 Brook Terrace apartments, mine included, and there's actually only 4 feet from my apartment wall to this wall that divides the property. Anyway, behind there will be a children's playground and a barbecue area. This means that we will be subjected to loud children playing during the days, and at nights, teenagers and young adults may be using the playground area to visit, talk loudly, play loud music, skateboard, and maybe drink, smoke, and do drugs. The barbecues will be blowing smoke into our apartment windows when we have our windows open. If we have to close them, we cannot enjoy the cool breezes and the fresh air. There will also be loud talking and possible loud music when they enjoy their dinners. Catty corner to these 6 apartments are 8 Brook Terrace senior apartments that will be subjected to a dog run and trash dumpsters on the other side of their wall. I don't have to tell you the horrible smells that will be emanating from this area into the 8 Brook Terrace apartment windows and surrounding Brook Terrace grounds and the adjacent neighborhood homes. There will be 96 units in this complex, generating a lot of smelly trash. We will also have to put up with loud barking dogs and dog poop. And remember, the walls are only 4 feet from our windows and walls. Another concerning factor fueling our opposition is that these buildings will be 3 stories high, and their tenants will be able to look down into our apartment windows with ease. We will no longer have a sense of safety, security, and privacy in our homes and bedrooms. We will also lose our enjoyment of the skyline and the sunsets. Another major factor Brook Terrace and the majority of the adjacent neighborhoods have is that the city of Hemet refuses to do a traffic survey on Sanderson and Devonshire Avenues. 96 Montego Bay apartments will generate a lot of traffic, a lot of vehicles entering and leaving via Sanderson and Cercelli Way on the backside. Sanderson Avenue is the major north-south thoroughfare in Hemet, starting at Dominigoni Expressway and leading up to Beaumont and beyond. Devonshire has numerous businesses and personal driveways and only 2 small exit streets from the adjacent neighborhood now, both of which now currently back up at times. The city of Hemet will have to make road improvements to ease safe entry and exit from the complex, which no one has yet addressed. There'll be people crossing both ways across Sanderson, and Sanderson backs up to Menlo and further back on a good day. So we would really like to have a traffic survey. Add to the enormous extra traffic problems will be a large majority of the apartments will possibly have 2 or more cars or work trucks, which will spill over parking into the adjacent side streets of the neighborhood. If there even are enough parking spaces for 96 cars inside the complex. Another factor that makes me personally oppose this project is because the residents of Brook Terrace Senior Apartments were only given 5 days notice of the first city council meeting in 2022, and due only to the timely intervention of one of our tenants becoming aware of the meeting. I sent a public comment to the Hemet City Council website, and my paper opposing this project was not read during that meeting. I don't know why. We are again only getting 5 days notice of this 2024 city meeting to address this building project. This is not enough time to gather and process information required to organize our concerns. Both of these short-sighted 5-day notices include a weekend, which greatly hinders our ability to gather legal documents and information we require. Seems the city of Hemet can do better. The residents of Brook Terrace Seniors Apartments and the surrounding small neighborhoods want to see that the Hemet City Council and Planning Commission do their best job according to established protocols, with the best interests of the residents of Hemet at the forefront before outside interests. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
I have another request to speak form from Stacy Olson.
Hello, good evening. First of all, I want to say that I'm a bit disappointed that the builder was made aware of this yesterday and we're just finding out right now. It seems as though you guys are just now finding out about this as well.
Yep.
That's a bit not okay. I'm disappointed that the city attorney is just now stating this. This should have been done immediately. The commissioner should have been made aware of this immediately. I'm the manager over at Brook Terrace, been there since 2009. So I'm here on behalf of the owners, the management team, and also over 75 senior citizens who live there. Perhaps it's appropriate that this hearing is being held on Election Day, an important day when we not only make critical choices regarding the citizens who represent us, but also a day when we honor the process of democracy, one that is fair, transparent, and follows the established rules and laws of conduct. The analogy to the extension of time request before you tonight could not be more clear. Approximately 2 years ago, this 3-story family apartment project was brought before a different planning commission. All of its recreation amenities are located approximately 5 feet from our existing senior apartment community, and a CEQA exemption, which was suggested by planning staff, allowed the developer to bypass any environmental assessment altogether. No noise study, no traffic study, no compatibility analysis, no substantive analysis whatsoever, other than this was an infill project that utilized the EIR for the Hemet General Plan update in 2012 to justify the CEQA exemption. There was an approval recommendation from both the planning staff and the city attorney. The commission passed the item unanimously. It should be noted that no effect was made by either the developer or staff to contact our contiguous Brook Terrace Senior Apartment community. The city of Hemet claimed that notice of the public hearing was sent to the out-of-state owner. However, neither the owner nor myself were aware of the public hearing until the day of the meeting, and only then after being informed by a tenant late in the afternoon that day. I am aware that there are land use professionals on this current planning commission, and as a long-term resident of the city of Hemet, I am grateful for their service. I have contacted several very experienced developers regarding the process that the city of Hemet followed in 2022, and none could believe that an environmental assessment was not required and that a mitigated negative declaration process was not undertaken. All of these professionals would have encouraged the Montego Bay developer to reach out to the contiguous senior community to address the predictable concerns. All thought that the project should have been redesigned to provide for a significant buffer between the recreation area of a family apartment project and an existing senior project full of sensitive receptors. One made the comment of how desperate the city of Hemet must be for development that it would engage in such a sloppy approval process. So where do we go from here? Obviously, with a recommendation for approving the extension of time, planning staff is not interested in addressing the issues that should have been addressed 2 years ago. Interesting that the staff report does not provide any analysis or information as to why the extension is necessary or appropriate. The developer will predictably argue that they have spent significant funds in bringing the project forward and that they should be granted the opportunity to continue. But the reality, in my opinion, and in the opinion of several other experienced land use professionals, is that this developer knew that it was able to have its way with an inexperienced, incompetent, or corrupt planning director, and that it was going to see how much it could get away with. Turns out, they got away with everything they wanted. The Hemet Planning Commission has an opportunity to require this developer and Hemet planning staff to honor the process that we all know should have been originally followed in this case. The extension request is discretionary, which we now find is 18 months regardless. I say when it comes up, if they need it, deny it. The applicant will appeal to the city council and let those who are responsible to the voters make the decision that will signify to the rest of Riverside County what the city of Hemet truly stands for. Thank you for your time tonight. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Stacy. For members of the public?
I do have an electronic comment received that I will read into the record. And afterwards, I did receive a request from Mr. Walters to respond to the comments. But I will read public comment received from Nancy Summers. And it reads, is the city of Hemet in the habit of accepting such weak reasoning and unjustified extension requests as that submitted by the applicant for this extension? I have read the request for extension and I see no real information that would form a basis for a valid excuse. Under reason for delay, currently designing construction documents. Under justification for extension, unforeseen economic circumstances. What exactly does that mean? Is the applicant overextended? Did they underestimate the process or cost of preparing these documents? Can we expect that actual construction will be prolonged because of unforeseen economic circumstances in the future? At a minimum, I suggest this item be continued until the applicant can provide a satisfactory request for extension. Given that they are already allowed to skirt critical environmental review through the categorical exemption, I understand that neighbors on Cercelli Way are concerned about unanalyzed impacts on Cercelli Way of placing the main ingress here, among other potential issues. The city and its residents deserve a better response from the applicant for this extension. Further, the proposed resolution does not include keywords describing the project as an independent living senior facility that were included on line 37 of resolution PC 2022-025. Has the project changed? Is this still intended for senior-only residents? I think this is important enough to be carried into the new resolution so it does not get lost. Thank you. That's the end of that comment.
Thank you very much. And with that, we're going to go ahead and close the public comment. And staff, any questions, any concerns?
Yes, Mr. Walters did want to have the opportunity to respond to comments.
My apologies. Going to reopen that. I bet there wasn't any.
This is James Walters again. Thank you for your time and I appreciate these concerns that have been expressed to the public. I will just say that I don't take any of these comments lightly. I do respect them and for all of their merits and for your concerns. So I just wanted to address them. I can run through them quickly, but by and large, the biggest item seems to be noise, after hours or smells or any kind of problems coming from those amenities. I would like to just state that we have some apartment complexes in Riverside County. We've never had any problems with this with neighboring properties simply because they're always professionally managed. We don't manage them ourselves. We have very well-known and reputable management companies that will sign on and do this, and they enforce all of the rules, including picking up trash, making sure that people are not in our amenity areas and facilities after hours. There's no loud music going to be playing. Further to that, there was some comments about parking and off-street parking. This community, while we can't enforce people not to park off-site, there will be 200 spaces for 96 units. So with 200 parking stalls, I feel that we are dramatically overparked, and it wouldn't make any sense for people to park outside of the community because it would just be a further walk. Construction traffic inside of this development during construction will be limited to inside of the project. As per our rules, we have parking areas that are designated as how we phase these projects. I've built a number of these before. I don't expect any delays or problems with that. I've seen plenty of these as all the way through as my own with my own company as a general contractor. I'm also the developer. One item to note with the Brook Terrace Senior Apartments, we have already been served a lawsuit as of about 2 years ago, and we settled with them. And the settlement was on grounds that we would agree to pay basically a fee to the Brook Terrace community so that they can plant tall hedges prior to the start of our construction. And so I would encourage you to speak to management and ownership to make sure that that is done. And we certainly will be honoring our commitment to do so. In regards to the comments of the CEQA exemption, this is a project that is less than 5 acres, and under California law, it is okay to do that. And so we're falling under that at around 4.5 or 4.8, something like that, acres. But in any case, it is less than the required statute for a CEQA, full CEQA study, mitigated negative declaration. So that said, I understand that there can be problems with dust and construction traffic and noise, all of which has been solved on all of our projects thus far. I've truthfully never received a complaint from any of our neighbors, and I do frequently build in areas where there are neighboring properties or infill sites. We mitigate that with specific times where the construction workers can be working on site and causing noise. There's also going to be silt screens and fencing that will mitigate any kind of dust. And of course, we already have California building code requirements where if there's excessive wind, we won't be playing with dirt. We won't be kicking up any kind of dust on site. And we do have saturation requirements that force us to water the site to mitigate any dust pollution onto neighboring properties. So with that said, I do thank you for your comments. I am here for any kind of concerns or problems that are that arise between now and then. I'm happy to make any kind of adjustments where I can to accommodate the community. The goal here is not to be a nuisance to anyone, but to provide much needed housing to Hemet. So thank you for your time.
So, Ms. Olson, I saw you shaking your head on the settlement. Can you,
They're going to approach the podium if we're going to have.
can you approach the podium and answer in response to that?
That we're going to, well, public hearing still open.
You so much for the opportunity to respond. I was going to ask to respond. He said quite a few things. Yes, we did. We did a lawsuit because we weren't given enough time to come before you when we could have squashed the whole thing in the first place. So we did whatever we could to defend our seniors. We spent over $30,000 with our attorneys trying to fight this. We only have 50 units there. We're very small. The owner, this is their only property. $30,000 is a lot of money. So basically we didn't even break even. We couldn't go any further with the lawsuit because we didn't have the funds to go any further with the lawsuit. So we had to stop. They settled and gave us $30,000 that we'll only get that once they begin building. So we can put plants up, which are not, we've looked at every single kind of plant. I don't know what we're going to do. I want to remind him also that there is, but from the back wall, which is bedroom windows of our seniors, to the block wall, there is 4 feet. From that block wall onto this gentleman's property, that's where the pool, the spa, and everything else is going to go. They're going to be digging a pool I would be willing to say within 10 feet of the back windows of my tenants who are seniors. Now, some people may sleep at 9 o'clock at night, but seniors sometimes need to be sleeping during the middle of the day. I have a lot of ill, sick tenants, and digging a big pool and a jacuzzi and the equipment and the noise, they're going to do it during the day. I understand that, but my tenants sleep during the day. We don't even do work orders usually until after 10, 11 o'clock because of that reason. So I'm just here on behalf of my tenants. This is a real problem, not only for my tenants, but also for the owner, because we know what kind of negative response we're going to get. We've already had people say, I'm going to have to move because I cannot be backed up to that. So we're going to have an owner that's already established here. We've been here since 2005, who now this is their last apartment community, or probably just, going to go belly up if they can't keep the units occupied. We work really hard to keep our community as one of the nicest senior communities in the whole valley. We work very hard to keep it clean, to follow the rules. And I've been in property management 38 years. This is what I do, as well as real estate. And I can tell you that as much as he would like to say that he's hiring a company that's going to do a great job, that they're on top of things, I've been in management 38 years. People do what they want to do, and then management comes down after the fact and says, hey, you can't do X, Y, and Z. I can also tell you with the laws in California right now, good luck trying to control your tenants. Good luck, because you're going to have to send them about 5, 6, 7 warnings before you can even serve them anything else. And then you're going to need 3 more of those forms to say, you got to stop this behavior. It took me over 2 years to get someone out. And in the meantime, wide open for them to misbehave. So I appreciate that he knows building, but he doesn't know management. So thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Can I ask a
Thank you.
question?
Yes.
So that particular parcel is on a major intersection in downtown Hemet. Is there a particular type of development that you would like to see there?
I have a lot of different thoughts on that.
I'm just curious,
Yeah.
because it's zone, because of its zoning and everything.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, because a lot of the comments are really about construction and not wanting anything there, not wanting to have anything block the view shed.
I don't think that's so much at the view. I think it's a family community.
There
So
was
you're
some
go-
there. I'm just
Yeah.
wondering if there's in lieu of an apartment complex, is there some other type of development on that 5 acres?
I hadn't even thought about it, to be honest. I wish that we could have been, in 2022 afforded the time to have a discussion as to how they could have reorganized the property so that the pool and the
Sure.
spa and the playground is right up against somebody's bedroom window. I mean, that's the worst planning ever. If you look, there's 4 feet between the bedroom window and the wall, and where people are going to be sitting in their lawn chairs. And I can tell you, when I lived in an apartment, in a family community, kids are screaming, kids are jumping. You've got people with their radios, they're playing music. This is 4 feet, 4 feet. That's not the distance between that chair and that chair right there. And there's the bedroom window. There's the wall, and there's people.
Is that 4 feet from the existing structures to the property line wall?
From the bedroom wall,
Right from the existing bedroom wall?
from Brook Terrace bedroom wall, from say Lori's bedroom, okay,
So that
to our block wall.
4-foot separation is to the property line. So whatever would be built there would have a 4-foot separation to the bedroom windows.
Yes, it's 4 feet from the bedroom window to our block wall. 4 feet.
Okay.
That space right there. That's the distance.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Please, no more. This is all note.
I don't have any further public comments
Public comments?
and no No one's requesting to speak online.
Well, we have it.
Close the
Public hearing?
Oh, well, we have one more person that wants
Oh,
to
really?
reopen.
Oh, we do?
So go ahead and approach the podium.
Oh, sorry.
And with that, we'll close the public hearing after that.
Apologize for not following procedure, just blurting out. As far as him saying that we are complaining about construction traffic, no, we are complaining about everyday traffic. Rush hour backs up to Menlo and beyond. It takes several times to get through the intersection at Devonshire and Sanderson on a good day. And construction traffic, we would understand.
Can you
But this
please
is
get
every
closer to
day
the
for
microphone so they
rest
can
of
hear you?
our lives.
Turn on your microphone. It's on. Okay. Should be a little green light there.
Hurry. Did you hear anything?
Yeah, we heard it.
I heard it.
So no, it's not the construction, traffic, it's the everyday traffic. And it's also, there are several streets beside us that have gotten no notice about these things. And their main complaint is the only ways in and out are crossing both ways across Sanderson to get in and out of the complex. And the back road going down Cercelli and Quimby Ann, to get out of that small neighborhood. And those already back up with traffic going back and forth on Devonshire. And there are also driveways for Rite Aid and the 24-hour fitness and the restaurants. Rite Aid's gone now. The other one on the other side of Devonshire has a car wash and car wash and lube, Jiffy Lubes and stuff. So they really need a traffic survey and they need to count the cars to make sure that, it's one major intersection that goes through town all the way up. So it just baffles everybody in the neighborhood that they won't be able to get out of their neighborhoods either. And your streets are going to get tore up like nobody's business. So anyway, thank you.
Thank you very much. And with that, we're going to go ahead and close the public comment and bring it back to the commission for any comments you want to make.
How did this get exempt from CEQA?
The project is, any project that's a residential project, less than 5 acres,
Yeah.
qualifies for a CEQA exemption under our infill exemption.
So that's-
really
Still
find-
undergoes an analysis. It still goes through an extensive review through the city, through a process. But it doesn't require an initial study to be prepared.
State of California does say that it is, a CEQA is not necessarily required, but it is a leap of faith. Look before you leap and ensure transparency. And what is being said tonight is there was no transparency.
I was on the commission when it was approved in 2022. And one of the things that I recall from this particular item was that there was no public comment at the time. And so I'm really interested in knowing is a comment that was made, I think you made it, Stacy, that the only people that there was the out-of-state owner was the only one that received it. I thought that we made sure that the notifications went to everybody that lived within 500 feet or something like that. So I think that's an important thing, just to make sure that we followed and I know that was different staff at the time, but that we followed the appropriate policies and rules and regulations. So that's one part of it. The other is that is making sure that we're compliant with California CEQA law in terms of what's exempt and what's not exempt. It meets the zoning requirements, and so from that perspective, when we were reviewing this, there was no significant concern because of it. It met all of the legal requirements, and there was not any opposition at the time. So, but I do think if the residents did not receive notification, that's a problem. We need to make sure that we have that. We need to make sure we know that, because
Yes.
that's an important piece of this.
I think our public is becoming more aware, which is good.
Absolutely.
Well, our hands are tied.
I have
No motion.
couple of things I'd like to ask of staff. For this particular public hearing, can you let us know when the public hearing notice was published? And when the notices were mailed to surrounding property owners?
Okay, so, sorry, I don't see it in the staff report. I apologize. It is a 10-day noticing requirement. We also notice it in the newspaper 10 days prior to. So it was published, and maybe Jordan has the actual dates of publication and the date that we actually sent out the notice of public hearing.
That is correct. I do have the certified mail that was mailed out by Karina Hernandez. It is signed and dated October 25th, 2024.
And the noticing of the newspaper was also published on October 25th. Yes.
Okay, so that'll be 11 days, 11 calendar days, which is pursuant to the state noticing requirements, requiring a minimum of 10 days. It's not 10 business days, it's 10 calendar days. The reason I'm asking is the question was brought up by several of the public speakers that they only found out about this 5 days ago. So okay, I'm sorry, I misread a letter. I thought it stated in the letter that this meeting, you only received 5 days notice. So I just want to make it clear for that staff did follow proper legal procedure in that regard. A few other things procedurally speaking, if there was an issue with whether or not a categorical exemption was appropriate, the time to make that argument would have been about 2 years ago when the notice of exemption was filed with the county, because there is a 30-day period in which somebody can challenge whether or not the categorical exemption is appropriate. So the ability to challenge that issue expired about 1 year and 11 months ago. So unfortunately, we cannot revisit that. Also, realistically speaking, our hands are tied with respect to being able to review the project at this time because it is eligible for a state mandated 18-month extension of time pursuant to the Assembly bill that was recently signed by the governor. That is for 18 months. If the applicant is not able to put that project together in the next 18 months, they may very well be before this commission again requesting another extension of time, at which time we might be able to revisit whether or not the design is appropriate, allowing for the recreational uses and other uses so close to the existing uses. Unfortunately, we do not have the legal purview to revisit that today. And those would be all of my comments.
Vice Chair Bap, that was one of the only meetings that I was not able to attend. So, and I reviewed the YouTube video of it and the project, and my biggest concern was traffic. I think that would have been my biggest disagreement, is putting the flow of traffic the way they had it laid out. But again, just like Vice Chair Pap said, in the new AB bill, our hands are tied, not much we can do other than just allow the AB bill to take effect. Does the city have any authority? Maybe Vice Chair Pat might know this as well, but if he were to do an extension, are we able to request to review the project again as it is written and have with the new commission per se?
The request, the extension is by Hemet Municipal Code. It allows the planning commission to consider whether or not to approve an extension of approved project, not to reopen the project as a new review, but whether or not to allow for the applicant to proceed with an extension of an approved entitlement based on the conditions of approval. So if it came back to the commission for an extension, the commission has a decision to make whether to approve or deny the requested extension.
Okay, but for tonight, the applicant has removed this off the agenda.
That is correct. And so this evening, based on the new information provided, it would be recommended that the planning commission table this item.
Yes.
It's unfortunate, it's the only thing we had to discuss. Something has to be tabled. There's so much to talk about. Okay, with that, I just think just table the item. Do we need a motion for that?
You don't need a motion. Essentially what we can do is remove the item from the agenda and clearly state that an 18-month extension is being granted automatically under law, just so we have it in the minutes, without any further action needed from the governing body.
So basically, the applicant will be granted the 18-month extension due to the new AB 2729.
Correct.
That we'll go ahead and.
It would be, Monique, I don't know if just for our own benefit, maybe we can, if it's possible to look back 2022 and just get confirmation of what the notification
Yes,
was.
actually, I did see that we did send them out. It was posted on October 6th, 2022. There were some that came back that were returned. We do keep record of any of them that are returned. And so for some reason, I think we probably need to work with our USPS on this, or US Postal Service, to help us and make sure that they're getting their mail. And because sometimes it comes back returned undeliverable, even with the correct address. But we'll look into that.
Yeah, just the bottom line is to just make sure that the public is informed of what's coming so that they have an opportunity to come and talk before it's too late.
And again, something when they come to tell us, because she did mention 2024 as well, 5 days. And if any validation, just proof of validation, just be nice. Just to show like, here's, we mailed it out on this day, proof of validation instead of hearsay.
We will include that in the staff reports. Moving
You
forward.
know, I just, from a logistical standpoint, why somebody knowing that they're 4 feet to the fence when we are doing this notification, that we just leave it to the Postal Service to get the information to them. It's not hard to go and make sure that the office has paperwork. It was 4 feet from the wall. I mean, you could drop off, hell, I'll even do it. Tell me when to do it and I'll take it to the office so that they can, give it out. But that's what everyone says. They never get that. What's the common denominator?
Seems to be a shift in kind of the way communication is happening all
Absolutely.
around. We need to probably look at adapting.
Okay. Moving on. With that, City Attorney, item 7A.
Nothing to report. Thank you.
Thank you. And 7B, Community Development Reports, Director Monique.
Nothing to report. Thank you.
And future agenda items, Director Monique?
Yes, future agenda items. We do have a specific plan amendment for Page Plaza. We have a drive-through restaurant on the former Long John Silver site, Freddy's Restaurant. There is a project that you're aware of that it's in a future item for Simpson Business Park. We have a work study for electronic billboards that'll most likely be on our next Planning Commission agenda. And then we have also High Point Apartments also coming to the Planning Commission.
Thank you very much. 7D, Planning Commissioners Reports. Director Monique.
Commissioner Worth?
I on the Simpson Business Park, I would appreciate maybe an opportunity to meet with city staff and just kind of get some more background information on that prior to that coming to the next agenda. So if there's an opportunity to set up a time to come into the office and talk with you a little bit about that more. Secondly, one of the things that with my other hat that we've been working on with the different land use agencies within the EMW service area is working to better coordinate water, wastewater, recycled water conditions during the entitlement process. One of the gaps that we have is that we don't, as a water agency, we don't get notices from the land use agencies soon enough as well. So kind of the same exact thing that we're hearing from the public here, we're not getting this information unless it's a environmental or a CEQA notification. And what I would like to suggest to city staff is that we look at an opportunity to when all projects come in at the DRC level or that initial review is that we work with the different utilities, whether it be for infrastructure requirements, whether it be for new regulations that are coming out every couple of weeks, it appears. But to try to work that process with the developers more in a parallel versus a linear. We tend to go through the entitlement process. We get project entitled, and then it goes into the other agencies. And by that time, it's too late, and we're causing some problems. If we can start those processes earlier and work in parallel, it's going to be a lot more streamlined, a lot more efficient, and we'll have a much better product for our community ultimately. So just something that I would suggest that we work with, that the city staff consider as engaging when the projects first come in, regardless of the public notice requirements or the CEQA notice requirements, that we reach out to the different land use or the different utility agencies for an initial review or kind of a triage. So thank you.
Commissioner Clark?
I first of all would like to remind everyone here that when people come and speak to us, to not have our phones or not scroll. They're getting up and they're talking to us. And it's courtesy not to have your phone with your head down as people are talking. I was embarrassed earlier. I'm sorry. The second thing is San Jacinto has the estates at Mountain Bridge. That's one section that has 73 single family units. The second one is 81 single family units. That has already been in the process. That has a huge impact on our infrastructure. And the city of Hemet and the city of San Jacinto do not talk. There is no communication between these two entities. Now, there is a 249 single family proposal on a 24.47, that's 10.7 units per acre. Some of them won't even have garages. The Planning Commission approved that in San Jacinto a week or so ago. So it's going to impact Hemet. San Jacinto has the Ramona Expressway under its belt. But we have Park Avenue, and we also have San Jacinto and State, and all of the entities to go out onto the highway. We need to get some kind of communication going. That is ridiculous. And we're going to pay for it, guaranteed. It's already a show when you get to Park and Menlo and Yale. Imagine what's going to happen soon. So I would suggest someone get on it with the city of San Jacinto because they're packing them in there.
Commissioner Hill?
A while back, I made a suggestion to staff about looking into Park Avenue in Menlo in the road condition there. I have not heard any feedback on whether it's part of the repair plan or pavement plan. The road is getting worse and it's terrible. It's really bad. The road is deteriorating quickly. I would appreciate some feedback from staff on that. Would that please? Thank you. That's all I have.
Vice Chair Pat?
I have a few things this evening. My wife and I spent a lot of time driving around town recently, and I look at many of the good things that are happening in the community, but what unfortunately seems to really stand out are the sore thumbs. So I wanted to ask on some details, or if you can provide details or provide a report, maybe at our next meeting on some of these issues. In particular today, as I was driving around town, well, let's start with a little positive. When voted at the library, it was a wonderful turnout. We waited in line for more than 2 hours to be able to vote. But we voted in person instead of just dropping off because we enjoy that experience. And everybody there was patient, helpful, friendly. It was a good experience. It was just a long wait, but it was nice to see the community turn out for this election. But while we were out and about today, one of our stops was at the AAA office on Stetson Avenue there at Gilbert. And where we parked, I'm sorry, this is going to sound gross and might be offensive. I'm going to try to PG it or G rate it as best I can. As we parked, we were facing easterly at the property line, and the building next door on the other side of the chain link fence, I'm sorry, I didn't write down the address. It's currently vacant. There is human feces all over the windows of that building. I assume this is from homeless people who are using the place to sleep at night. It would appear that they are leaning on the building and then relieving themselves. And not only is it unsightly and disgusting, it's unsanitary, it's unhealthy. I'm not sure what exactly we do about it or who we notify to please attempt to do something about it. Maybe start with the property management company. But the filth around town is depressing. It makes me sad to see some of the areas of our town that used to be so proud struggling so much, including, I'm gonna bring up a sore subject, I'm sorry. The buildings in downtown, in particular, the northeast corner of state in Florida, which still sits without a roof. Are we doing anything to rectify the situation with that building? The L&L Market continues to sit idle for probably over 2 years now. I see a gentleman there as I drive by. I live near there. I drive by there almost daily. I see somebody in the parking lot with a minivan with about 7 or 8 dogs. Thankfully, it's a little cooler than it has been, but I've seen those dogs panting and I'm not sure who they belong to or why they're there. But why is that market not open yet? Looks like the construction's completed. The gas tanks are not installed. I wanted to ask about the business improvement grants. Have we had any successful recipients of any of those funds? Or have we received applications for that program? And then I wanted to inquire about the status of the pro-housing designation application that was being prepared. And that's all I have for this evening.
Okay, thank you. Chair Beamsterver?
I, as well as Vice Chair Papp, have more follow-up questions than anything that maybe can be brought to next meeting. And that starts with Dutch Bros, when Dutch Bros going to open up. And then the question I also asked about was the Eagles Brew Coffee. I've asked why he's having to pay almost $7,500 in city fees to try to open up this business. He's planning on opening up the end of the month. But comparing to neighboring towns, it's double the price of what he's having to pay. And is this the going rate for the city of Hemet? I mean, I haven't received any answer to why he's paying that much money. And he shouldn't have to pay that much money. The trash enclosure grant, this has been going on since beginning of the year. And there's still a lot of businesses very excited to have a little bit of trash enclosure to keep the homeless out of their trash. And I understand we're just waiting to hear from a contracting bid, but how long is it going to be to get that out there for contractors to bid on? In and out, again, the traffic in and out. We just want to know kind of what the city's plan on doing that, contacting the landlord, the property owner. What else here? Oh, it's unfortunate to see the Skyline plant closing down. So we have, again, pretty soon, we have a large warehouse that'll be available if they're closing the plant down. And as well as the one on Warren, we have a huge warehouse there that's empty as well that could be used for potential warehouses instead of having to build. And these are large square footage warehouses that could be reused. And, an update on the plastic location on Menlo, the plastic store that the guy came up here several months ago and basically made a plea. And again, all we hear is engineering, but how long is that going to take for engineering to allow him to start building? Because it doesn't look like anything is happening there. And that's about it. So without any other reports, we're going to go ahead and move this with no further business to discuss. The meeting is being adjourned to next planning commission meeting scheduled for November 19th, 2024 at 6 p.m.